crowd you're seeing in this video is the mammoth crowd at the presidential campaign rally of the APC, that is of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Kaduna State. He's currently in Kaduna State right now for his presidential campaign, and the whole of that crowd is supporters for the APC presidential candidate. We're going to go back to that story as we proceed here on the program. You are welcome to the Newspaper Review here. And today I'm with Mr. Victor Sioku, as always.
Thank you, sir.
You are welcome. And together we're going to go through the newspapers together. Do well to join us by dropping your comments and the reactions on the comment section. We'd really love to know what you think about the headlines we'll be discussing shortly. All right, if this is the first time you're seeing this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you can, get enlightened every time here on the program. So click on the subscribe button and don't forget to also turn on your notification key, because that's how you will get notified whenever I come up with a new episode of the program. All right, without wasting time, today we're going to go straight to the papers, and we'll begin with Vanguard newspaper for today, the 13th of December 2022. My name is Williams Abule. All right, on Vanguard, we see here as headlines, INEC offices, third attack in 12 days, claims 4 lives in Imo, says vital election materials safe, PDP, Labour Party kick. You find that story on page 29 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also see here CBN disburses 9.7 trillion naira intervention funds. Details of that story you'll find on page 19 of the Vanguard. Moving on to the main headline on the Vanguard, we see politicians inducing voters with money buying PVCs. INEC speaking. Politicians inducing voters with money buying PVCs. INEC speaking. Right under that, we also see a worrisome development. PDP speaking. Those who weaponize poverty behind purchase of PVCs. Labour Party. Politicians creating problems for electoral system. Afenifere. INEC must invalidate stolen bought PVCs. Pandev speaking. Then lastly, INEC left openings for manipulation. Ohaneze. Quite a lot of reaction to that story. But let's take all the headlines here on the Vanguard. You see here, these days APC media team spat. NGE, NUJ call for professionalism, free press. All right, we also see here, pensioners go wild in Niger, disrupt swearing in of local government chairman. You find details of that story on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. All right, Mr. Victor, back to the headlines here. I would like us to deal with the main headline here on the Vanguard, which is talking about politicians inducing voters with money buying PVCs. Well, this is not the first time this is happening. Years before now, we've seen cases like this, but it's beginning to look like, since INEC is beginning to block, open buying of votes at the election day, on the election day, it seems to me that politicians have devised another means of paying people to get their PVCs. And I wonder how that is going to work out for them. How do you react to that story?
Okay, now, if you check out the development that has happened with our fiscal policy through the CBN, you find out that they have tried, as in the CBN and the current president, the regime of the President Buhari, have tried to shrink the chances of these bad politicians, these very bad eggs, from stop them from buying the people's votes. Okay, now, but from the look of things, they want to do this way before the election comes by. So a faction of the, mind you, as just like in real life, as God has planned things, you find out that the devilish ones are also looking for ways to bypass things. Same thing with making laws. When you make laws, you see people, their work is just to go out and look for means
to
bypass it. Just like your report with the EFCC, that, as in the forfeiture, the cars that were forfeited, that the spokesperson was like, see, today, that you find out that there are people that are genuine, that they just want to pay for these vehicles and go home. But there are people, spoilers.
Yes.
So these politicians right now are spoilers of the Electoral Act, spoilers of any fiscal policies that the CBN is bringing to make Nigerians to have a better election come 2023. For Nigerians to select, let it be that any person that has been declared winner will really be the true winner. But what they are doing right now is to buy votes ahead of time. Mr. Bule, the second thing that I am thinking that they are about to do is, on the election day, you will find out that their, will I call them their agents, their world agents, their criminal agents will be at the wards and they will be doing transfers. They will be doing money transfers on the election day.
Yeah.
I bet you. But it's not the work of the EFCC. In fact, these anti-financial departments to come out and track these persons. Because you cannot tell me that one person on an election day, they need to even track all transactions that are happening on election day. Just bring out some weeks and track and see. You find out that when a particular person, individual, is making up to, let's say, 10,000 naira transfer on election day to 50 persons, my brother, what does it tell you?
Yeah.
When you go back to the backlog of the person's account, check the person's account history, find out that the person does not do such transaction. It is just now on election day that you find out that one person is doing 50 transactions with almost the same figure. That is a trail. And I pray that on the election day, or towards the election, or after the election day rather, these EFCC, the ICPCs should go and check people's transactions. And yeah, they can even say on election day, put some kind of measures with the banks to say, okay, when transfers of this nature happens, they can write the program. When this kind of transactions have stopped the account from performing on the election day. Are you getting me? So they should just go out and also please, because they have brought out this act, they have brought out this policy rather, but they should also note that Nigerians will, the bad Nigerians will look for ways to bypass these things. So they should.
We don't know what next move the federal government will make because they've been doing a few things to curb these ill practices leading up to the election. And that's why the CBN came up with redesigning of the Naira, plus, of course, the withdrawal limits that was recently put out, even though that has been, the National Assembly has reacted and said, okay, it should be put on hold, but we don't know how far that has gone yet. But then these are certain moves that the federal government is trying to put in place to ensure that, the things that have been happening in the past don't repeat itself come 2022, because for me it's a very critical election year and we want to get it right. And so we don't know, let's be hopeful. I believe that however these people are trying to bypass this, now that INEC is beginning to cry out and say, okay, these guys are gathering PVCs from people and they're buying off for, okay, I believe that the government would maybe work out something that will, try to clamp down on that whole procedure. We hope to see that happen pretty soon before the election. All right, we're going to move on to our next paper for today, and that will be this day for today, the 13th of December. And on this day here, we see Mormon, that is the Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, says subsidy has diminished Nigerian institutions' capacity to deal with energy crisis. All right, DSS threat won't guarantee availability of products nationwide. Petrol retailers say scarcity eases in Abuja after stakeholders meeting. All right, moving on to other stories here. We see federal government abolishes face mask at airports, relaxes COVID-19 rules. All right, CBN development finance interventions have boosted food security, says efforts on the way to unlock finance for MSMEs. Declares initiatives have supported economic diversification. Governor Bagudu Abubakar orders Lord Amefiale for huge financing support to states. On the major headline on this day, we see here, Obasanjo, Nigeria at crossroads, needs leader with right character, says he has paid his dues. All right, and lastly, I'll take this one. Police kill 3, arrest 2 as bandits attack INEC office in Owerri. Let's begin with that story. All right, we saw in a report yesterday how, where the police were um, showing to the public 3 members of that very crazy gang that attacked INEC office in Owerri, and 3 of them were gunned down. Plus, the attempt to burn down the whole INEC office. How do you react? Because this is not the first INEC office that has been attacked. We've heard a lot about this attack, especially down here in the east. What do you make of all of this?
Okay. Now, this comes in with different aspects. You view them from different corners. Okay. Yeah. In the southeast, it's evident, okay, that most of these attacks are done by the miscreants in IPOB. Okay. Mazen Namdekalo, who is the leader of the IPOB, had already cancelled himself out of all the agitation by IPOB members to cause mayhem in Igbo land. Okay. Now, even down to the sit at home that has been occurring, he has removed his hand. Look at what happened. The 5 days sit at home, stretch of sit at home that was declared. Some states are doing it, but just recently in Ebonyi State yesterday, some persons were killed, okay, because of they came outside during the day, okay. Yeah. So now in Igbo land, we already know that, see, some miscreants in IPOB are causing this kind of mayhem, burning INEC offices so that there will not be election. But yes, but I'll also come back to this. But if you notice, from the other part of the country, you find out that it is strictly done by politicians. What do I mean? Because some politician will find out that, see, in this area, let's say, for instance, or the INEC office that is very close to us, they say, okay, we know that, for instance, Labour Party have their strongholds around here, meaning that materials around here, sensitive materials around here, if we burn them down, that means we will disenfranchise people around this region to carry out their civic duty of voting. So that is just for other side of the country. Now bringing it back again, I must give kudos to the police force, the police command in Imo State, in Owerri, for carrying out this wonderful, wonderful strike on this.
The other day it was at Olu, and they succeeded in destroying the office and burning down part of the office, and now it happened in Owerri.
So I give them kudos. Yes, there was this other report that said that a police officer lost his life. Unfortunately, if that is true, that would be very, very bad for the family. Okay, and I wish the family the fortitude to bear the loss. Okay, but going forward, I think what they have done so far will at least put these guys a bit backwards to know that, see, you guys can't be hot. Okay, when they come again, God forbid they come again and they get this kind of clash with the police, because the police even chased them. There was a police chase and they were caught. Some were killed. So their vehicles were seized. And their arms. And come to think of it, how do these guys get all these guns? The AK-47, the pump passions, the green, what do you call it? Not grenades, the dynamite.
Dynamite they use in blowing up some parts of the building.
So, well, another cool thing, mind you, the location of this INEC office is just by the Port Harcourt Road, meaning that it is a big one and has many materials in it. Well, what could have happened if you asked that all the whole building being put into fire? Man,
and again, they have INEC staff members there. But then, thank God, no life was lost because they all took to their heels when this attack started. But then, the swift response of the police officers really saved the day, and that's what we are calling. We've been calling for law enforcement officers to actually protect INEC offices around the country, because this signal has been there. They've been burning down these offices, attacking them within the last 3-4 months. So it means that every INEC office should be under surveillance somewhat, because we don't know which one will be next. So But with this move by the policemen in Imo State, it should send a signal to these hoodlums that they should avoid carrying out these activities that they are planning on. They should just allow INEC to do their job. They are not the problem. Whether they attack these offices and burn down INEC offices here and there, people are still going to come out and vote. And who will become president will still become president. So all these things are necessary. And youths that are availing themselves to this kind of activities should flee disease from it, because death is always the result of this. Or you go spend a lot of your time in jail for a politician that will be the next day he will be in London with his family. None of his child or family members might be in the country. Most of them are even, somewhere very safe out there in the world. You are here carrying arms and, losing your lives like this. It's really sad, because come the election, whether you like it or not, these people will still get to where they are going to. So there's no need to get involved in all of that. You want to add more, or we just move
Well,
on
just
to our
like
next paper?
just lastly, like you mentioned, these attacks might just happen somewhere else. Okay, we
Yeah.
have about 73 days to the election, about
Yeah.
73 days to the election, and see, this might not just stop. So, like just like you have suggested, the police need to put their
Yeah.
men on ground.
Yes, yes.
They need to be
secure
on
these
ground.
facilities,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, unfortunately, their will I say their intelligence is not really working. Because in a situation like this, you might not even need to put your men on ground. With intelligence, you go and gather all those men together. How many are they at the end of the day? Gather them together and deal with them appropriately.
True. Very true. All right, we're going to go into our last paper, but that will be right after this short break. When we come back, we'll take on the last paper for today. Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
All right, welcome back from that short break. We're still here on the newspaper review. Before we go into our last paper for today, I would like to congratulate our able governor of Rivers State, Barrister Iyesom Wike, Live Venture. I like to add that, plus all the numerous titles he has.
Mr. Project.
Yes.
Leader of the G5.
Yes, leader of the G5 and Integrity Group. All right, today he's celebrating his 55th birthday.
Yeah,
Yes, 55th birthday. And we want to say congratulations to you. More power to you, and more many years and more achievements. Congratulations, sir. Happy birthday to you and your family as people celebrate. All right, Mr. Victor, we're going to our last paper, and that will be Daily Sun for today, the 13th of December 2022. And we'll start with this headline. It says, Uzodinma fingers politicians for INEC office attack. PDP false claim. Critical election materials not destroyed. Electoral Commission speaking. Page 6 is where you find details of that paper. All right, we also see as the main headline, Constitution Review. National Assembly leaders beg governors. Explain why ongoing amendment is important. Reps Speaker expresses doubts over completion before end of 9th Assembly. Details still on page 6 of the Daily Sun. Moving on to other headlines here, it says oil marketers open up on prolonged fuel scarcity. Say Nigeria has diminished capacity to deal with energy crisis. All right, lastly, I'll take this one. COVID-19, face mask, social distancing, not mandatory at airports, aircraft, and CAA. All right, let's start with that story before we give a political roundoff. So finally, the COVID-19 restrictions at the airport. When you're traveling, you have to go and do a test and confirm that you're free. You have a card carrying all of that information. All of that has been relaxed here in Nigeria. We don't know of other countries, but here in Nigeria, that has been relaxed. How do you react to that story?
And they've closed one market for somebody. As far as I'm concerned,
so
now,
yes,
Nigeria.
Very true.
Because when that started, some people started cashing out.
Yeah.
A whole lot of racketeering happened. So those people have cashed out. So right now is Uhuru. One thing we should also understand is that COVID is still not yet over.
Yeah.
Remember, in China, there have been, elements of lockdowns.
Pocket cases here and there.
Yes, and it is something that we also need to be careful as Nigerians. We should not also lose our guard. I know majority of Nigerians have lost their guard.
And recently we had the Ebola
respect.
scare too.
Uh-huh.
So all of that are things that federal government had to also put in mind and create measures for travelers, people traveling to African countries. Even for the COVID, like you rightly said, people still travel to China, to Japan for their businesses and come back into the country. We don't really know whether relaxing these measures would really be of help to travelers, most especially, and people here back in the country. But I want to believe that a lot of the COVID scare has really gone down. So I guess that's why the federal government is doing what they're doing now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Then generally, I'd like to also ask you to do a political round of all the political happenings within the last 24 hours. Earlier on, before we started the program, we saw videos of Bola Tinubu in Kaduna State with a mammoth crowd coming out to support him. I'm really surprised that he has that kind of crowd in Kaduna State. Oh yeah, El Rufai, being the governor, is one of his main supporters. So yes, that shouldn't be very surprising to us. So we have that crowd, and other parties are also doing activities. We also saw from one of our headlines today where the Labour Party is saying that, okay, INEC left, let me go back to that story. It says, okay, those who weaponize poverty behind the purchase of PVCs. Labour Party saying that, yes, that the PDP and the APC have weaponized poverty. So they are behind the buying of, these PVCs and all of that. So let's do a total roundup on all of these stories.
Well, from the pictures you've seen, you will notice that, anybody that is writing off Ashiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu is doing that on his own. He's
making a big mistake,
detriment. My brother,
he's in the game.
Is in the game.
Yeah, he is.
You can't take it away from him. Mind you, this is just Kaduna. Kaduna does not have the same capacity and population like Kano. Just imagine what will happen when he drops down at Kano with the support of Ganduje. My brother, that would be massive. So to the other political parties, you have seen it all. You need to go and hustle.
Yes.
If you really want to win this election, not just by bare rhetorics, you need to go to the field and go and get people that will vote for you.
Very true.
The crowd in Kaduna, for me, it has really sent some signals out there. For the PDP, some things happened yesterday, and it was a thumbs down for them. What happened? They went to campaign in Benue State. Could you believe that when the VP came on his own, while the presidential candidate, that's Atiku, came on his own. So when Okowa was coming in, the governor somehow met him at the airport and was like, you guys did not. I know that I'm very sure that he was aware that they were coming to his state. But he was like, come on.
Chief security officer now.
Yes. So Samuel Otom, who is part of the G5, that's the anti-Atiku, he saw Okowa, who happens to be the running mate of Atiku. Saw him at the airport, was like, guy, you're coming to my state. You guys did not let me know. Okay? But in a jovial way. So they met, they hug. Okowa was like, guy, you're wearing same white and white with me. Come on, what's happening? You know, like we say, politicians, when they come together, they can marry and while their supporters are there killing themselves. Okay, now, he was heading to the airport to welcome the supreme leader, the emperor himself, the birthday boy.
Yes,
he met the birthday boy at the airport with his PJ, that's his private jet, coming down, and they hugged and they had merriment. Okay. Atiku also came, but nobody welcomed him. It was just his party people. Oh, come on. But yeah, I need to report what I saw. The crowd was just so scanty. And you know, in Nigeria, we really build all these things with the number of persons out there, the crowd. The crowd tells a whole
tells a
story about you as a candidate. Okay. So, well, they are still doing their thing, the G5 and the Atiku. So just that's died by the corner. They had their campaign and all that, and they left home. And mind you, in the Labour Party, the issues in the Labour Party are beginning to gain more momentum. Let me not bore our people, this is not the time to just talk a whole lot about Labour Party, but we should know that the Ogun chapter of the Labour Party is having a big issue, factional issue. What are they saying? That the PCC, the Presidential Campaign Council, that was announced, that it was not showing true federal character, that some persons were just honored, living another part, a side of the country. Now, what are they saying? That, see, Doyin Okupe, who is the DG of the PCC, is not supposed to be the DG because of federal character. That why would the Southerner of Doyin Okupe, and you already have Peter Obi as a Southerner,
as the leader, as the
presidential candidate, the Southerner, and why don't you take it to the northeast or the northwest? So that's the issue happening in the Labour Party.
Yeah.
And come to think of it, they also said something striking that, see, Okupe just came to this party. He just came to this party. He wasn't part and parcel of this party. And do you know that in 2015, that from what Arambibi, the leader of the Ogun State chapter, saying that, see, when in 2015, that Goodluck Jonathan paid the Labour Party 50 million naira to support them. They support the PDP. And mind you, we were having a discussion that I was like, see, some of these Labour Party candidates that just towards the election time, I am very sure they are going to step down and join another force and collect this money. Because in Nigeria, this money means a lot. When you also look at the situation whereby you are not even guaranteed this position, and you can be able to sell off, get something back, and go back to your normal life. That might just happen. This is Nigeria, and that's my own prediction. Okay. So, going forward, if it's about faction and having issues with the political party, it is the Nigeria thing. It is deep-rooted in our DNA that parties must have issues. But now, the qualms right now is, will they be able to settle these differences before the general election? That I cannot tell.
Yes. Yeah, it's true that most of these parties are having internal wrangles here and there. So we're hoping that they will resolve all of this, especially the Labour Party that has a lot of people supporting them and hoping that they will be the light at the end of the tunnel. All right, that's all we'll be taking today. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Victor, and to our viewers. Thank you for staying with us up to this time. Until next time when we'll come your way again with the newspaper review. My name is William Sabule. You stay safe and stay well.